Afternoon, everybody. As you can see, we've got a bit of a full house today as well. We've got I'll introduce you to you. We've got to my left on the screen, Bill Corbett from the Yorkshire Seaside. It's Yorkshire Seaside. All right.
All good. Yeah,
it's all smiling all smiles in Yorkshire. Brilliant. Below him, I've got Seb. A lot of people have been asking about Seb. Hiya, Seb. This is my son, who is at AFC Father Academy and plays local football, good footballer. And a lot of people have been asking if I can get him on. So we've managed to twist his arm and get him on. So good afternoon, Seb.
Hello.
Afternoon. And next to him, we've got Freddie Abram, who we all know. Good afternoon, Fred.
You okay?
Yeah, absolutely fine, Fred. I'm just going to go through just a few quick comments on the screen. I'll put them up to see what people have been saying in there. Rory Grumish is here. He's actually in Australia, and he's saying, "Go Blackpool! We're 10th now. We'll make the playoffs." So that is good news. Rory thinks we'll make the playoffs. I think we will too. Giles Morgan says, highly, big match Tuesday, got to beat Peterborough at home. If Virtue not fit, go Ethan Robson to play and Gretterson and CJ Hamilton make the bench. But Tuesday, we still need Badine Tuesday. Well, we'll talk about that with you in a minute, Giles. Forever Football PUFC is here. He's Peterborough United fan and he's not confident, so that's good to hear. And Nick Muller is here, surprisingly. Nick Muller, who reckons Ipswich are going to walk the league, but I'm not too sure about that. And yes, you rule East Anglia, probably that's. Do you rule East? I don't know whether Ipswich do rule East Anglia, but anyway, Nick's here. So we're going to start off with our first question. And my question really to start off with is, when you saw the team sheet, I'll put it up here. Did you fear the worst when you saw the starting lineup with no Mitchell, who we thought was man of the match on Tuesday night, and also Husband being injured? So I'll start. We'll start with Phil. What did you think when you saw the lineup? Do you want me to run through it with you?
No, I'm good with that. I thought I wasn't that concerned, to be honest, because Thornley's not let us down every time he's come in. He's always come in and done okay for us.
Yeah.
And I think it's round pegs in round holes, isn't it? He's a centre half, so putting him back in was the right thing to do. Also, Embleton on the second half made a real difference against Burton, I thought, and I was quite pleased to see him start as well. So Mitchell was unlucky, but I wasn't unduly concerned with the team lineup. I thought it had a good balance to it.
Yeah, I was. We were kind of similar feeling as well. That we thought it was okay. Seb, were you happy with that lineup when you looked at it?
Yeah,
can you remember the lineup?
There wasn't really very many concerns. Like, you brought Embleton on. I thought he played well last game when he came on. We only got to see him, and then he came on and he made a difference to the whole game. So we finally got to see him. Usually he comes on for 2 to 3 minutes or whatever. He came on, and I felt he was good when he played that game. Mitchell, he's very dangerous when he comes on. He has the pace, so him not being there was kind of not very hurtful, but it was still missing him. Turton, every time he plays, I always think he's not actually as good as Gabriel, but he always proves me wrong every time. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, so I totally agree. Freddie, what did you think when you saw that lineup? Do you think this is looking like a lineup that's going to beat Oxford today, or did you have a few little concerns at first?
I did have a few concerns. My first concern was Thornley playing at centre back. Obviously, we didn't find out late, or I didn't find out late, that Husband had took a slight knock. Now, I've actually been a bit of a critic of Thornley since his first game for Orrell, when he kept getting caught out of place. I will admit, though, over the last few games that Thornley has played, he's actually starting now to make me eat my words and overturn my initial thoughts of him. I thought he had a good game yesterday. Obviously, there's always going to be a question mark over the Turton Gabriel at right back. I'm happy with either. But my big concern for the starting 11 was not seeing Mitchell in the start-up. I thought he had an excellent game against Burton. I love his style of play. He likes to get hold of the ball. He runs at defenders. And I thought maybe that would have benefited us a little bit better against Oxford yesterday. But saying that, Ward came in, he had a fantastic game. And I was happy with the. In the end, I was happy with the 11.
Great. Okay, brilliant. Thanks. So I don't think there was a major concern with it, and a lot of people mention these streams that Critch is a Tinkerman and all that sort of stuff, but these things are being forced on him. And I think the fact he has been a Tinkerman and he has brought players in and and rotated the squad, I think that's all starting to prove beneficial now, as these players just slot straight in, don't they? And you almost don't notice players are missing. I don't feel. In fact, I'd actually say that's probably one of the best lineups we've had so far. The way we played, I don't know whether it was a formation. We'll talk about that. We changed the formation. A lot of people are always mentioning in our stream that we like 4-4-2, but it was like a 4-2-3-1. Was it yesterday? The 4-2-3-1 formation, and it seemed to suit us very, very well. We'll go to Phil first on that. What do you think? The formation.
Yeah, 4-4-2 suits us when Medine's available, because he fits into that, because he can hold up the ball when it's played to him and bring other players in. We don't really have a like for like if he's not available. So we've been trying to force it onto Sims and Yates to do that, and it's not really their game.
No.
We've tried hard with it, but for me, he got it spot on yesterday. I mean, we looked. The way the midfield was set up, I thought Dougal just sat there holding, but also with Virtue alongside him, it enabled him to get forward, which he hasn't really done. I think it's the first time since he got the COVID that he's actually looked back to how we know he can play, and I thought he really played well yesterday, and that just got the rest of the team sparking, because he breaks stuff up and gives it easy, and everybody played from there. We got the ball in good places and took it from there.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Phil, on that. Do you agree with that, Sebi, that when Medine's injured, we're probably better not playing a 4-4-2 because we haven't got anybody who can actually do what Medine does, and that did suit us better? What do you think?
Yeah, we have Ellis Sims. He's a tall lad, isn't he? But he just doesn't win headers like Medine does. He doesn't hold up the ball like he does and stuff. Yates never seems to work on his own, but with Embleton behind him, he presses with him. So we pick up the ball like higher up the pitch, and our counter-attack seems to be like a lot more damaging towards them because we have Embleton and Yates. And
Did you feel
next to
Did you feel yesterday from the off we were really pushing Oxford back? They were struggling to get out their own half. We were sort of hunting them down, weren't we? They had no space. You could see a lot of the game that they were playing back to the goalkeeper, back out to the left, and they just couldn't move, could they? Because we were really on them. And do you think that's said because of Embleton there? Where you saying?
It is, because Medine doesn't press the way Embleton did that game, so it would just be Yates pressing on his own. But them two together just works very well. And then the counter-attacks are a lot more dangerous, I feel, as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Freddie, go to you.
I thought it was really well, to be fair. Yesterday, I thought we did really well, both offensively and defensively. Playing a 4-2-3-1, it means that obviously when Oxford are attacking, we had a really strong six at the back. But then obviously going forward as well, we've got a really strong four, and the likes of Henderson, Virtue, Kai and Yates, and also Garbutt are getting up front. With Medine being out, putting that extra player in midfield, I do think that in midfield it also gives us different options as well.
Yeah. I've just seen that actually Sebi's older brother Alex has just come in the stream. He said he's seen a lot of Oxford fans have been saying that we stopped them playing the football how they like to, and I think we did just come. And I think Oxford are a good side. Before the game, I don't know about you, but in the morning I was tweeting, I was saying things like I'm a bit nervous about this game. We never win at Oxford. They're a bit of a bogey side, and I was expecting a much tougher game, but. I thought we nullified Oxford. What do you guys think?
That was the only downside for me. I've been to the Kassam plenty of times, never seen us get anything. So typical, isn't it? It's the season for it. MK Dons, Charlton, never seen us win at any of these places. But hey, I'll take it all day long if we're getting 3 points.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oliver Graham says, shout out your name. So Oliver Graham, your name shouted out. There you go. Alex says, yeah, closing them down all the time. I think this is due to having Yates and Embleton constantly closing them down at the back. You know, we have, and I think that changed in the game before against Burton, where the second half we really did pen them back, didn't we? You know, we changed the way we were playing and we pressured from the front, and I think it looks. I think it suits us, and I think it is the best we've played. In my opinion, I think that's the best game we've played. I don't know about you guys. Sebi, would you say that's the best performance so far?
Yeah, football-wise, yeah. Usually when the start of the season, we had Hamilton, didn't we? And we just pinged the ball up to him and hope for the best. But since he's been out, we have to start playing football because we don't have the pace that he has. So it just makes us play better football. And that game just showed it. Even defensively, we were solid at the back as well.
Yeah. Anybody disagree with Seb on that? Because I'm pretty much totally in agreement with you there.
I mean, nobody's quite as quick as CJ, but we are still quite a quick counter-attacking team. And because we're pressing up high, we're then really getting at, well, we certainly did against Oxford and in the second half against Burton as well, really got at teams. And we can, if we can keep that up, we'll be fine. We're definitely a playoff contender. You never know. You never know.
Possibly automatic. I know. I'm starting to think that. I don't know if anybody watched the EFL show last night. Colin Murray did actually touch on the fact that our Blackpool, the dark horse, is in the league. And I was saying this to Jane earlier, and if you cast your mind back to previous promotion seasons that Blackpool have had, we're never, as a Blackpool fan, I've never had that feeling that we were going up until it gets to this end, to the sort of this time of the season, where suddenly out of nowhere you start to think, you know, we're coming here, Blackpool. And I've been in the same situation as we're in now. I've read on message boards and fans have been saying, oh, you know, get rid of this. He's not playing well. He's not, you know, they're all moaning on the message boards. And yet somehow we suddenly turn it all around and we come and we get promotion almost so unexpectedly. I can't ever remember a time of being a Blackpool fan where at Christmas time you're saying we're going to get promoted, you know, we're top of the league. We're never that sort of team that's at the top, nailed on for promotion really early on. It always comes as a bit of a surprise. And I'm wondering if this season could be like other seasons where that has actually happened and we've just suddenly appeared from nowhere. Have you ever experienced Blackpool that way, Phil, where you've thought, oh no, we're definitely nailed on this season, we're going up? Or has it always been that sort of it comes as a surprise to everybody really?
Before the season starts, I think we're going up automatically every season. But
yeah, I
know exactly what you mean. And especially with the start we had this season. But if you're going to go up via the playoffs, the best way to do it is to find form with 15, 20 games to go, isn't it? And really push on and get in there as the team up with momentum. You don't want to be up there all season and end up falling over the line.
Yeah.
We took advantage a few times of that.
As we remember in 1996, where, you know, we were sort of nailed on for promotion, weren't we? And then we had, if I remember rightly, and somebody reminded me, we had the Chesterfield game at home where they scored a worldie against us. Then we went to Oxford and they scored a worldie against us. And somebody also reminded me that, you know, we had a goal disallowed as well, didn't we, in that game? Because I was there, they scored right in the last minute of the game. I can still see the Oxford fans going wild now down at the Manor Ground. And we fell back into the playoffs, didn't we, from being second in the league. And then, of course, you know, the disaster of Bradford. So I totally agree with you. It's not a good place to be mentally if you're looking like you're going to go automatic and then you have to go through the playoffs. But if you get in them. So are we going in them too early? Because we've got a chance, haven't we? We have a chance. I know we've got some Peterborough United fans in the stream and they're fearing it. But Tuesday night is a chance to get in the playoffs if we win, because there's nobody else above us playing. So if we win, we're in for the first time. Can we beat Peterborough?
Look at the times that we've got up as well, lads, we've always been the underdog. We're underdog to get to the Championship last time, we're underdog to get into the Premier League. So I think it's just a Blackpool way. It suits us being an underdog.
Yeah, suits the underdog. So Peterborough United, they seem to be just going off the boil a little bit, don't they? Peterborough, consistently over the years have been top of, near the top, and then they kind of fall apart at the end, and I don't know whether it's a mental thing with them, but do you think this is a good time to play Peterborough with us? I mean, we've got to be up surely after that game. We've got to be, the team has got to be buzzing. I think. Oh, Freddie's gone on a side.
Gone sideways, Freddie.
Freddie, you've gone sideways. I don't know what's happening, Fred. Just leave it that way around, Freddie. It doesn't matter for today. If you're having trouble with that phone, just leave it as it is. It's all right. We can live with that. Seb, what do you think? Peterborough?
It is a good time. What is their last 5 games? It's like 2 losses and 3 draws or something like that. And then they drew on Saturday, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yes, they did.
With a last-minute penalty equaliser.
Yeah. So good. And considering the form we're in, we've been getting draws, but at least we're picking up points. Like, we've not lost this year, right? I don't think we have. And with that win away yesterday, gives us a massive boost going into the game on Tuesday.
We have lost this year, but not
too.
At home. We lost to Ipswich away, if you remember. We played terribly.
Yeah.
But apart from that, but since that, in fact, that's thinking about that game, that Ipswich game, everybody was, everybody on the message boards, on my videos were complaining about Critchley and why did he settle that way at Ipswich and why did we go to Ipswich, all defensive and why did we let a poor Ipswich team at that time, they were going through a terrible run. And I think he's learned. I think he's learned a massive lesson from that Ipswich game. And since then, we just won the last 4 away games on a bounce. And that is an incredible, to win 4 away games on a bounce is bloody good form, isn't it? So do you think Critch learned from that Ipswich game? Because he seems to see the game as we see it. When I listen to Critchley and his interviews after the match, I'm watching it and I'm thinking, he's saying exactly what I'm saying. He's seeing it exactly as I'm seeing it. I think he's, he reads the game very well. What do you think? We'll start with Phil. Did that Ipswich game teach him a lesson?
A turning point, definitely. I think he's realised as well. We're as good as anybody. Why cater to some of these other teams? Let's impose our game on them, and that's exactly what we did yesterday. I think even in some of the games we've drawn, they've been apart from the Crewe game, where a point, fair enough. I think we could have easily won all those other draws at home. We've created the chances and not put them away, and yet we've picked up 25 points in the last 12 games. I think there's only Sunderland that can match us on that, and possibly Burton, actually, thinking about it. But nobody's done better than us over the last 12 games. And it's a good time to hit form. Let's keep it up.
Yeah, I think you make a good point there about how many points that we've actually, accrued over those games, because a lot of the, people have been, there was even people saying Critchley out after Tuesday night, and I can't quite believe they were saying that. But no team, or very rarely, are you going to win every single game. It was just disappointing that we just had the 3 games at home that we didn't win. But like you say, the performances really were not too bad. I mean, Crewe looked a really good side, didn't they? And on that day, and I thought Fleetwood were very poor. I thought that was definitely a 2 points drop there. And I thought Burton, I just don't quite understand the first half against Burton, to be honest. But apart from that, I think it's looking very good. Seb, do you have any explanation for why we've won 4 on the bounce away, but we haven't won at home? Is there a reason for that? I think Freddie may also.
When we play at home, teams just come to win. Like they play aggressive the first 45 minutes. With Burton, they came and they played the way they wanted to play. They attacked us like from the start, and then we finally were like, oh, we've actually got an opposition here that we have to play, and we started playing football, and we got ourselves back into the game, which is why we've been playing well. And then when we go away, we play like teams play us at home. We go in to win, which I don't feel we do at home.
No, well, we haven't done, have we? We start off very slow at home, and yet we started off like out of the traps, unbelievable on yesterday. Freddie, I think you mentioned earlier that you've seen the reason why. Have you? That why we're not playing as well at home as we are away?
I believe at home, if you look at the last 3 draws, we've actually started off really, really slow. The opposition's got at us from the get-go, from the first whistle. It's kind of different away. We really looked up for it yesterday. We're attacking Oxford straight away. But what I have done as well is I've looked at the possessions for each game, and what I've noticed is that when we're playing away, we don't actually have as much of the ball. For example, Oxford yesterday we had 46%. We won 2-0. And also we played away at MK Dons. We had a 29% possession overall. We won 1-0. So obviously at home we're having a lot more of the ball, and we're not doing that much with it in terms of creating chances and scoring goals. Yeah, okay, we still are, but not as in the way that we are when we're playing away. Yeah, it's just the way it suits them. I think.
Is it more? Do you think? Is it more because teams, when they come away to Bloomfield Road, are setting up a lot tighter in defence than they are at home? You know, we play them away at their home. They're a bit more, you know, they're trying to attack us and everything, you know, and play and dominate us, and therefore they're not quite as tight at the back when we're away. And teams are very, very tight.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I mean, when you're the home team, you know, you've got the omnibus to attack the team that you're playing. But when you're playing away, you know, you're looking for these chances, you're countering on the ball, and I think that really suits Blackpool as a football team.
Yeah. Talking about the formation from yesterday, we had a 4-2-3-1, and Kai, because I'm going to talk about him now. I thought Kai at times yesterday he was just so good. You know, he showed everything he could do, and he seemed to be orchestrating quite a lot of the exciting moves, and some of his little inside balls and through balls into the box were phenomenal. Would you like to see that same 4-2-3-1 at home on Tuesday? Do you think, would you stick with that if you were Critchley?
It'd be very hard on any of those players to not start on Tuesday unless they're tired or injured. But I think having played like that for 90 minutes, I mean, this season we've played well in little spells at halves or 60 minutes, but it was a complete 90-minute performance. I think it'd be very harsh not to start with that team and give them a go. Obviously, he's still got the options to change it if he needs to, but I'd definitely start it.
We're going to be without Ballard because he's got international duty, so we're going to be without him. We're also going to be possibly, we don't know yet, we've not heard about it, we might be without Matty Virtue as well. If I've not heard yet what the injury to him is. When Matty Virtue went off, he brought Gabriel on, and Gabriel seemed to just slot into the midfield. He played midfield, didn't he? He didn't go right back. In fact, he had 3 chances. He could have actually got a hat trick on the day, Gabriel. He had 3 great chances to score, didn't he? And he was a bit unlucky with one. He didn't shoot when he should have done. One, the keeper blocked one, didn't he? And the other one, he kind of ballooned over the bar when he had a great chance. But what do you think about Gabriel in the middle? Because I like Gabriel, and I actually think he would suit a midfield role. Sebi, go on.
If he could shoot, he'd be way better. If he could shoot, he's got the pace. Like he was playing midfield, but it was on the right side. He'd pick up the ball and he'd just run at them, and then he'd get to like the shooting area and just hit it into their car park.
He does.
Way over.
Yes, he did. But he does go at them, doesn't he, Gabriel? And he is quick. He's a very, very, very quick forward. And in fact, I've often, watched it whereas with Hamilton, and he overlaps Hamilton sometimes, doesn't he? So he's, and you see him up in attack and then he'll be back defending. So he's very up and down, quick from a right back position. So if he's only going from midfield, you could see he was up for chances, wasn't he? But yeah, I agree with you. If he can shoot, but then again, that's not his game, is it? So it might come with a few games, but I was happy to see Gabriel in. I think, Freddie, you're a big fan of Gabriel.
Yeah, definitely. I love the way that he gets forward. Just touching on what Seb says there, I do think he's been fantastic from that position. Obviously, he does like to get forward every single game. his youth being in and around, the top end of the pitch, he does get back. And obviously, playing in midfield, the trekking back, he can, stay in midfield and really look to utilise that space on the right.
Yeah. Michael Hague is saying Kaikai on his day is the best player in League One. I have to agree with you. I think he is on his day. The trouble is he's not always on his day, is he? What Phil would you say? Kaikai is in and out, isn't he? Sometimes, but when he is good, he's really good.
I think it really suited him yesterday because he had a bit of a free role. Really, he was starting on the left, but cutting in all the time. When he stays out left and tracks up and down, that's not his game. So I think that's why he's not on his day. When he's trying to do something, he's not cut out to be. It's best if players get out there and do what they can do rather than what they can't. And yesterday really played into his hands, I thought, because the way they set up allowed him to attack them. And those little 1-2s he was playing down that left-hand side, it was great to watch.
Yeah, it really was. Forever Football, Peterborough United is asking us the question, who is our best player? So I'll put that first to Sebi, and I'll tell you my thoughts on it after. So Seb, who is our best player, would you say, at the moment in this team?
In attack, I'd say Kaikai. The last home game we had, the first half, he was awful. He wasn't in the game. And then he came out second half and he was just a different player. It was like when we first signed Kaikai, he'd take men on all the time. And it was what we saw last game. We saw that the same. The Kaikai that just takes people on, it's it from miles away. But then in defence, like we have Ballard, he's solid at the back. I actually really like him, but I couldn't decide. It's one of them two for me. Yeah,
well, I'll move on to Philip next. I'll say me because my answer to this at the moment, and actually, I like all of them. There's not one single player at the moment in the Blackpool side that I'm not liking. Even the ones on the bench, I'm thinking they should be on. I'm thinking the ones on the pitch should be on. I'm thinking the ones that are on the bench should be on. If somebody said to me, would you go back in time and swap the entire team from last year and put them in and have them in rather than the team we've got now, I wouldn't. I think this is a really, really good side. And I don't think there's any weak links at all in any of the players that were playing. I can go through the whole team with you, but they're all exceptionally good players. There's, from the goalkeeper through to Jerry Yates to Kaikai to Elliot Embleton from Sunderland to, Kenny Dougal, Ballard, Turton, Gabriel. I mean, is there one that you would actually say, no, he shouldn't be in the team? Phil, how do you feel?
Oh, there's a question. No, I think you're right. They're all playing. As what you've also got to bear in mind is we're missing 7 players on yesterday who would probably be in that starting 11 if they were on top. If they were on top of their game, they'd all start. So goes to show we've really got that strength in depth which you need at this time, especially when it's such a contracted season anyway. With the amount of games we've got to play, you need a big squad, and we're showing that we don't need everybody to play every game. Some teams you watch them and you think that's their 11. They've no depth, but we can make those changes, and we can change formations to suit who's available and still put up a good show. For me, I think Yates scores the goals, but not only that, he works for a full 90 minutes. He's the one starting the press from up front and really closing them down. And so the defense starts right at the front. So for me, he's probably our best player. But like you say, you can make a case for an awful lot of them.
Any of them, yeah, any of them. Freddie, for you, who is our best player, or are you a bit like me, where it's just so hard to pick one?
Yeah, it's definitely a hard decision to make. Different qualities that each player possess that I love. I think CJ's pace, I really like him. I love the work ethic of sorry, guys, can you still hear me? I'm having a bit of a problem with
yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I've got you. Yeah, it's all right. It's working fine. It's a bit better since you turned the phone the other way up, actually.
Okay, I believe Kai Day is absolutely fantastic. When he's able to drop into that number 10 position on the pitch, he's able to put other players into play. He's absolutely fantastic. But obviously, unfortunately, with this the other side as well, where his twin brother is awful and he can't do anything.
Right. So let me just go to some comments here. Michael Hague saying, for my money, Kai if he plays like yesterday, he'll take us up. It's plain and simple that we're going up. I said we are going up. So would you say if Kai can get into this form every game, he's going to be the one? I would counter that, to be honest, and I would say that Kenny Dougal came into the team. We brought him in from nowhere, never heard of him. Suddenly we've got this Kenny Dougal, and he came into the team, and the minute he got himself into the team, he turned Blackpool's fortunes around. I thought we played better with Kenny Dougal in. He had the COVID problem, and he's come back, and I don't think he was quite match fit, not quite as good as he was. But I thought yesterday was probably Kenny Dougal's best game in a Blackpool shirt. He scored, which he hasn't done so far. So you got to give him credit for that. But he just pops up everywhere, Kenny Dougal, and he intercepts, gets his foot in. If they take it off him, he's trying to get, he's chasing Harry them back to get the ball back off him. And I think Kenny Dougal is so influential in this team. Equally as influential as Kai. I'll go with Seb first on this. Kenny Dougal, what do you think yesterday? Yeah, and somebody's saying you look a lot like me. So
he's our playmaker in midfield. Like every ball, I don't think he played a pass wrong. He's always an option. The ball he plays is like always the right pass. Like it's always perfect every time. I couldn't really say he did anything wrong last game.
It wasn't in the first half against Burton. I thought he put a few straight balls across, which was unusual for him. And to be honest, when he does make a stray pass, you notice it, don't you? Because he's normally, like you say, so perfect. He's some of the balls. He does the simple stuff, and he did. I can't remember when it was. He did an absolute beautiful through ball to somebody. I can't remember where it was. Maybe in the second half. It was a fantastic ball. It was. Honestly, it was David Vaughan like. Yeah, I just think he is really, really, really good. And if I put him in the same bracket as David Vaughan, I really do think he's a very, very good player. And in a way, I think that Stewart is all right, but I think it's maybe good that he's getting his chance back in the team. Phil, what do you think of Kenny Dougal, as we call him?
Yeah, I thought he had an absolute stormer yesterday. And when he plays well, we as a team play well because he just orchestrates everything. He's a key line of defence. He's taking a lot of pressure off the defence. As you said, getting those tackles in. For the size of him, he wins an awful lot of ball. And as Seb said, he knows what to do with it when he gets it. He's not just giving a simple pass, except when he needs to. But he can see a ball. I thought he had a great game yesterday.
Yeah. How about you, Freddie? Kenny Dougal.
Yeah, well, I love Kenny Dougal. He's an absolutely fantastic player. What frustrates me a little bit, in all honesty, is that when Stewart's playing, you don't really see the great attributes that Dougal can put into a game. He tends to be more quieter. Obviously, Stewart's come out injured. Dougal's actually really stepped up, and he's starting to play the fantastic football that we saw of him before he got COVID.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. He's back on form. If Kenny Dougal can play like that every game, I think, in answer to somebody's question, somebody said, Jane Davies says, do you think we're going up? I think if these players carry on playing in this form, if we play like that, I think we're definitely going up. I can't see anything else but going up. I can't see any team can cope with us, really, to be honest. In fact, it's very much in our own hands as well, isn't it? Because we've got Sunderland to play twice. We've got Doncaster Rovers to play. We've got Lincoln City away, and we've got Peterborough on Tuesday. So that's 4 teams there, isn't it? We've got 5 games against 4 teams in and around us. If we can get the wins there, what do you think? Can we beat? Well, we're playing Peterborough. What do we think, guys? Tuesday night, are we going to win? There's a few Peterborough fans in this stream, so
I quite fancy us on Tuesday night. Because we play better against the better sides. They'll come and try and play against us, and that'll create space for us going forward, and that suits us. It's when teams sit there with nine behind the ball, that's when we struggle to break teams down. But against a team like Peterborough, I think we've got enough about us to score more than they do, because our defence is looking rock solid at the minute.
Yeah. Sebi, Peterborough, can we beat them Tuesday?
With the form they're on right now, I'd say we could win. If we played them earlier in the season, then maybe not. I'd say we would lose that game. But the form they're in now, I'd say we have a good chance of winning.
Yeah. Freddie, would you agree with that?
I think it's going to be a very hard game. But obviously, like Phil said, they do like to get forward. They are an attacking team, leave spaces. And hopefully we can utilise those spaces to our advantage and hopefully get the win. Okay.
Should we go through do you want to go through the team? Let me know. We normally do a little bit of a player ratings out of 10. So we can do that if you like. We can start off with Maxwell yesterday. We'll start with Seb. Put you right in the spotlight. Out of 10, Maxwell yesterday.
I give him a 7. Like he didn't have much to do apart from like towards the back end of the second half, but everything he did was like just perfect, really. If there was more for him to do, I'd give him a higher rating, but apart from that, he was very good.
Okay. Phil, Maxwell yesterday.
I'd go up to an 8 because as Seb said, he didn't have a lot to do, but what he did, he actually did with a lot more confidence than he has been doing. He's had the odd fumble or two just recently, and coming out of the balls, maybe he shouldn't, but he didn't do that yesterday. I think he gave the defence a lot of confidence behind him.
Yeah. Freddie, Maxwell, out of 10?
I'd give Maxwell a 7. He pulled off a good shot when Oxford had a strike off at goal. Other than that, he wasn't really called upon. So, yeah, 7 for me.
Okay. I thought he had a good game yesterday. You know, like say, he wasn't involved in the game too much. And I'm probably going to I'm going to go 7.5 out of 10 just to be in the middle of you all. But he did a couple of saves in that second half when Oxford were just trying to apply a bit of pressure on us, and his positioning is, for some unknown reason, he has a sixth sense on where to be, because there was one shot and for a minute I thought it was going in, and it was just like he was completely behind the ball, wasn't he? He just went right to his midriff, and he was right in the middle of the goal, right where they put it. And then there was that other one where the guy turned and just put it wide, but he was there, wasn't he, in the sort of way for him to put it wide. When the attacker spun round on it, just put it wide. And I agree, his kicking yesterday was phenomenal. He didn't put a foot wrong with his kicking. It was all long, when it needed to be. And I thought he was helpful in us keeping hold of the ball in that last 10 minutes. Well, particularly with 6 minutes to go, Blackpool went on a spell of just passing the ball around, didn't they? And really being in, that proper game management where they couldn't get it off us, and we're doing little triangles and passing it around. And I thought, if we'd have just done that same thing the other week, they wouldn't have equalised, would they? We just copped up, didn't we, with the game management. But yesterday it was very good. So I'm going to give him 7.5 out of 10. For that one. So Ballard should we do next? Maybe Ballard as the next. We'll go to Seb. Ballard, you've already said you like him.
I'd say 9 out of 10. With the goal he got, he's always an aerial threat from the corners. Like on the corners, he is the big man that they should be trying to hit, because he has a good header on him. Defensively, he was also very good as well. Like not much got past him. Didn't have many chances. Yeah, 9 or 10.
9 out of 10. Phil, Ballard.
Yeah, I'd go the same 9. There was one point in the second half where they just overloaded us. They broke that Barker, I think, broke in from the left, and they were suddenly overloaded us defensively, and he got a fantastic block in, and that just summed him up for me. I thought he didn't put a foot wrong yesterday, and the goal was the icing on the cake.
Yeah, Freddie, would you go in as well?
Yeah, took his goal excellently well, and he also made some crucial tackles at the back. And 8.5 for me yesterday.
And I'm going to go for a 9 out of 10 for him as well. I thought he was immense yesterday. Just didn't do a thing wrong, did he? His defending is fantastic, and of course he's chipping in with goals now as well. So who needs Marvin Ekpiteta? to come in to get a goal.
We do.
Yeah, we do need him actually. We could do with him back, couldn't we? Especially for Tuesday night. I don't know who's going to be in on Tuesday night because husband's got a problem with his foot, hasn't he? And so I don't know who's going to play actually on the.
Daniel Gretterson is fit, isn't he? So
is he fit? Yeah, because apparently he didn't play because he's just had a baby, hasn't he? So maybe he's ready to go. That would be okay. So Ollie Turton, out of 10, we'll start with Seb.
I'd give him an 8. The defensively was good. I felt a few times their left winger got around him a few times, but he recovered very well. Going forward, he was all right. But yeah, he was solid at the back, to be fair. Probably like an 8 out of 10. Yeah.
8 out of 10. Freddie?
Going to give Turton an 8. I thought he kept Holmes very quiet, limited the play that Holmes had. Yeah, I thought he made some fantastic tackles. So, an 8 from me.
Phil?
Yeah, I think he has to be playing well because he's got Gabriel breathing down his neck in that position. So he did a good, solid defensive job yesterday. Just what we needed, and I'd give him the same 8.
Yeah, I give him it. Nick Mulner, I've just got to put this. He says, "Imagine if my son played for Preston North End. Well, if he did, he wouldn't be on this stream. Let's put it that way. Just kick him off. There's no way I could handle him playing for Preston North End. It wouldn't be good." Okay, so that's your answer to that question. Jordan Thornley yesterday. Who should we start with? Phil, go on, Phil. We'll start with you.
I thought he was another 8. The whole of the back four probably, but apart from he's coming into the team every time somebody gets injured, but he fills in, and it's like he's never been away. He comes in and he did a really good job yesterday. I never felt they were going to score, apart from that one time when he turned and shot wide. He defended really well. He did what a defender should do, and that's why I'll give him an 8.
I think you said at the start of the show, didn't you, that it's putting square pegs in square holes and round pegs in round holes. That's what he is, and he's slotted in, and he just played a beautiful game, didn't he? Sebi, would you agree with Phil there on him?
Yeah, I go 7 or 8 again. He came in. He was from the injuries. He came in and he's played very well. Like every game he's been in. I thought he played very defensively alongside Ballard or whoever he plays with very well. He's very good defensively, the same with Ballard. And he's, just a good defender, really. 7 or 8.
Brady?
Yeah, 7.5 from me. He's slowly starting to turn my opinion on him. I thought he played well yesterday next to Ballard.
Yeah, he did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong for me as well. I'm going to give him an 8. Michael Haig just says he's worked the points out. He thinks we'll finish on a minimum of 78 points. Should be enough to get. Well, it will get us in the playoffs if we get 78 points. I'd like to know your calculations have gone for that actually, but I think we can actually achieve. If we play like this, we can achieve more than 78. Oh, Freddie's just disappeared. He's having problems, isn't he? So, right, while he's not here, Luke Garbett yesterday. Phil?
I thought he was absolutely. His set pieces were absolutely spot on yesterday. The Radio Oxford commentators were scared to death every time we had a set piece, and
which is unusual.
From both sides, to be fair. Kai did the same on the other side. We got the delivery spot on yesterday, and apart from that, he was up and down the pitch and defended when he needed to. I thought he did a great job. So again, I'll give him an 8.
Yeah, Sebi.
Yeah, same thing. From set pieces, we're so dangerous. Usually, it's like, we've hit it too far, or we've hit it too not far enough. But every time he whips a corner, it's perfect. Like every time. Defensively, he was good. Maybe a few times his man got round him, but apart from that, going forwards, he's also very good doing the overlap runs. So yeah, probably like an 8 again.
I'm going to agree with you. I think while Freddie's trying to, I don't know what Freddie's trying to do. He's had problems with his laptop, so he's on his phone today, but it's not working quite so well. It's like a maybe.
There we go.
Just leave it like that, Fred, if it works. Have you got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Luke Garbett yesterday for you, Freddie.
Luke Garbett, I love Luke Garbett. One of my favourite players, in all honesty. I think he's fantastic at set pieces. He crossed the ball extremely well from the right for our goal. I'm going to give Luke Garbett an 8.
Good. I am also going to give him an 8. I mean, it's going to be very hard to give any player in this team anything really less than a 7 because it was the most magnificent performance we've seen all season. They should all be 10s really, because we always start at the start of the stream. We said it is the best performance from Blackpool team that we've seen all season, and not only just first half or second half. It was a full 90-minute proper. Both halves were absolutely fantastic and so professionally played as well, and we could have had more on another day. Even though Oxford did have a couple of chances, they're always going to get a couple of chances, but really, when you look at it, it could have very easily been a 3 or 4-0. And I think the way they played out the clock at the end was also very professional. They just didn't give anything. They just didn't give anything away, did they, yesterday? I thought they were superb. So I'm going to give him an 8. Kenny Dougal. 10 out of 10 for me, Kenny Dougal. I'm just going to put it out there straight away. I don't even need to say man of the match. He is my man of the match. But Seb, go on. Kenny Dougal.
Same thing, 9 or 10. Everything he did was pretty much perfect, and he got the goal as well to put the icing on the cake, really.
Yeah, he did. Right, okay. Phil, are you with us a 9 or a 10 for it?
I'm in that kind of bracket. Yeah, 10. Ooh, that's a scary thing.
We did nothing wrong at all.
No, he was absolute. He both defensively and going forward, he was absolutely on it yesterday, and back to absolutely top form. So yeah, 9 at least. Let's go. I'll go with 9 at least. 9
at least for Kenny Dougal. Freddie, Kenny Dougal.
Yeah, Dougal was fantastic yesterday. Got his first goal for the club. I'm going to give him a very, very strong 9. It was fantastic.
Brilliant. Okay, I think we're all pretty much agreed on that then. Matty Virtue. What do you think yesterday? I thought he had a solid game. Start with Sebi. Just a shame about the injury.
Yeah,
but,
the same with Kenny Dougal as well. 8 or 9. He's the same really. He doesn't do much wrong. He's always gives an option and going attackive. He's very good, and defensively he's very good as well. So yeah, like 8
he's
or
kind
9.
of box to box, isn't he, Matty Virtue? You would say he's a box to box midfielder. He gets back, he gets forward, he's all over the place. He puts a shift in, doesn't he, Matty Virtue? Philip, would you agree with that on Matty Virtue? Up until the injury, he was a good player.
I thought he played a different kind of game to what he usually plays. Usually he is all about bombing on. Yesterday, he was a lot more restrained and really holding his place, and that let the likes of Kai and all the others get forward and do what they would do to the best of their ability. So I thought he did a good solid role yesterday, rather than getting in the edge of the box and shooting, which is not what he normally does. So yeah, 7 or 8. I'd give him an 8, I think.
Okay. Freddie, Matty Virtue.
I think with Virtue, what you're getting is a very solid, reliable player who likes to play box to box. The ball gets forward. So obviously, you've got to take into account his injury yesterday. It wasn't his own fault. He played well until that. So I'm going to give Virtue a 7.5.
Okay. Grant Ward, Phil. Grant Ward yesterday.
Yeah, he's a strange one, Grant Ward. He comes into the team, does a solid job, disappears for a few weeks, and then comes back in and does a solid job. And yesterday he played a full part without being over flashy, but he was always there as an out ball when the likes of Dougal were winning it. He was always there to get the ball and just kept the ball going. He was recycling the ball a lot. I thought he had a good game. Just kept that right hand side ticking over, and let possibly Sully on the other side take a bit more freedom by him being a bit more disciplined, maybe on the right hand side. I thought he was maybe 7.5. A solid enough performance. Yeah.
Just before I go on to Sebi, I'm going to do my opinion on Grant Ward yesterday, because I agree with you. I think we look a better team when he's in. I don't think he ever does anything particularly wrong. I think he's kind of dangerous when he gets on the ball. You're thinking he can do something. But my only criticism is his final ball lets him down. So he either decks it along the floor instead of getting it up. We were spoiled last season with Liam Feeney, who just put in some amazing off the ball. I think that's everyone's done. Elliot Hamilton, did you do it, Elliot? Seb? Yeah. Okay. Right. Sully Kai must be close to being man of the match yesterday for everybody, I would think. But we'll start with Freddie this time. Go on, Sully Kai.
Yeah, Sully Kai for me yesterday was my man of the match. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. He dropped into the number 10 role, players in. Obviously, the corner, it was absolutely fantastic. My man of the match yesterday, definitely a 10. Brilliant.
Okay, a 10 out of 10 for Sully, and your man of the match. Sebi, do you think Kai benefited from being played more in more of a central role yesterday, or he kind of drifted into middle quite a lot, didn't he? But he was kind of everywhere, wasn't he, as well? He wasn't just in the middle. He was all over the place, Kai. Sometimes he was down the left, sometimes through the middle. Kai, what do you think, Seb?
The Kai we saw yesterday was the Kai that we saw first. Like the way he just take him on, you'd pick up the ball and you think, oh, he's going to do something with it. Like, you weren't scared of him. You're just like, oh, he's just going to pass it back. He'd even have a shot the odd time, so you would never know what he's going to do. So I'd give him like a 9 or 10. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Phil, Kai.
Yeah, on another day, he could have scored a couple. I mean, he had a one-on-one with the keeper, didn't he?
He did.
Although the keeper came out really well and closed him down. On another day, he scores there. And free kick or two. Great delivery for Ballard's header. So yeah, as the others have said, Kai yesterday was the Kai we know he can be, and he did it for the full game as well. Sometimes you get little flashes, but he was involved all the way through the game, and I thought he had a tremendous game. Certainly a 9.
Great. Well, I'm going to kind of agree with you on that, Phil. I think it was a 9 as well. I think it was almost a perfect performance. In fact, I would have given him a 10 if he'd have put that goal in.
Yeah.
If he'd have just dinked the keeper. I had Brett on a couple of weeks ago, and he said he went through a spell of just dinking the keeper and everything went in. And I just think sometimes just take that little bit of time, watch the keeper go down and just dink it over him, and it would have been a goal. Just that, but. He hasn't scored many, so he hasn't got the confidence like a Jerry Yates to do something like that. But if he'd just put that ball in, he definitely would have had a 10 out of 10 because he would have got the third goal, and that would have taken just a little bit of pressure off that last 10 minutes. Because I don't know about you, but I always have a fear when it's 2-0 that just one goal.
If they get one, they'll get 2.
Yeah, it all goes really pressury then, doesn't it? And with the referee putting up 6 minutes of injury time as well, you thought if they'd have just got an equaliser with about, in the 85th minute or something, we'd have had to survive 10 minutes with 2-1. It could have been it could. I always have that fear in my head. I think that's just been being a Blackpool fan all my life, that I just have that fear of
happened too many times not to be worried.
Right. So Jerry Yates, we'll go to Seb first on Jerry Yates. What do you think yesterday of Jerry Yates?
8 or 9 again. Like, maybe he wasn't as noticeable yesterday, but the runs he made off the ball are just, I've never seen that from any other striker. Maybe he could have done a bit better with like shooting in front of net and stuff, but apart from that, he was very good.
He's a danger, isn't he? He's so busy and he's so everywhere that I think defenses can't relax with him because there was a couple of times where he nearly picked the pocket of defenders again, didn't he, yesterday? Phil, what do you think, Jerry Yates yesterday?
Yeah, Jerry Yates did what Jerry Yates does. He absolutely was all over their back four for the whole game, and that played a key. They couldn't play out from the back, which is what their game is, to build from the back, but they just couldn't do that because he was in their faces for the full game. And for that reason, I'd give him an 8, because he didn't score.
Yes,
harsh. But there you go. But everything but score. He played as a forward. Proper defending from the front.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to put this question to Freddie about him. Actually, there's so much about Jerry Yates. Reminds me of Brett. He reminds me of Brett so much because Brett was like that, chasing everything down. defense can't relax because he's always somewhere rooting around, and you can't play your normal game. So Freddie, what do you think? Jerry Yates, was it a great performance, and does he remind you a little bit of Brett Ormrod?
Yeah, definitely. Both have a fantastic work ethic. I absolutely love Jerry Yates is becoming one of my favourite players in this current team.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I didn't feel like it was at his absolute best. I loved how much he was running and his effort that he was putting in. I'm going to give him 7.5 yesterday. But regards to the question, Lee, there's a lot of similarities between Jerry and Brett, and I feel that it can only benefit Blackpool for the next couple of years to come.
Yeah, totally agree. Right, so we've got Jordan Gabriel. I'll go with Seb first. Obviously came on a cameo performance, probably played about 20 minutes, but in that time could have had a hat trick on another day, couldn't he? He could have easily had a hat trick. What do we think about Jordan Gabriel? I love him.
7.58 probably. It's not his normal position to play. Maybe if he was right back, that's his favourite position. But on the attack, I thought he was dangerous. To be fair, he just run at him, and then you just didn't expect it. But then he gets to the final third, and it just all go wrong. Really, so 7.5.
Yeah. So okay, Phil, Gabriel.
Yeah, that one particular run, he went past two players like they weren't there, and you think just slot the ball, go on, and then it's into the cinema at the far end of the car park. Never mind into the car park.
It was. Reminded me of Russell Coughlin's penalty at Bolton.
Indeed. So
the younger ones won't remember that. We won't know.
There's one for the youngsters.
Russell Coughlin had a penalty at Bolton and to win the game, and I think it was a win or maybe equalised. I can't remember. It was a cup game, wasn't it? And behind the where we all stood in that paddock, there was a supermarket. They built a supermarket at the back of it, and they're taking quite a bit of the actual place where you stood off, aren't you? So you're right up against the wall of this supermarket, and of course he hit the roof of the supermarket. Imagine how high like Asda is for a penalty. He actually hit the roof. It was unbelievable. But yeah, he was ballooned over by Gabriel. Yeah. So.
Yeah. But a bit like Bright Samuel was really all the tricks, all the skills. But no end product when he was with us. But I think he'll improve on that and get better. It crosses my mind he'd be better as a wing back if we had a back three, or a back five. He'd really suit that, But we've probably got the players to do that, but we've never quite set up that way, which is fair enough. Not my call, but I'd give him. For the time he was on the pitch, a 7. Yeah,
a 7. Okay, Freddie. Just going to ask you as well another question on him. Would you love to get him on another season-long loan? Do you think we've got a chance of getting him for another season, or even getting him off Nottingham Forest? I don't want to send him back. Actually, I think he's so good. But what's your thoughts on him, and what's your out of 10, Freddie, for Gabriel?
I absolutely love Gabriel. I feel that under Critch, he's not just fantastic going forward, but he's actually learning the game of how to be more defensive and back too. I'd love Gabriel to come to Blackpool on a permanent. So if you're watching this down, Mr. Adler, please sign Gabriel.
I totally agree.
There's something about. There's every chance we might be in the Championship and Forest might be in League One. So might strengthen our case.
I think Forest will be safe. To be honest, they were looking very dodgy, but I think they've got themselves into a position where I think there's too many clubs down below them. I think we can dream that Forest are going to go down, but I think we can definitely get up. I'm convinced we can. I really am. The last player that came on is really Ethan Robson, and he only played a bit of a cameo role, so I don't know if we need to rate him really on that. He was the only player on. So I'm going to ask you guys, probably as a closing thoughts, are we going to go up? We'll start with Seb. Go on.
Yeah, you've got to say yeah, and you're really well. We 3 points off playoffs with like 3 games in hand, some 4 on other teams. The form we're in, yes, I'd say we are. We do have the ability to go up.
Somebody mentioned in, I think it was on one of the forums, they said something, I hope our Easter form is better than our Christmas form. I'm hoping, but I think Blackpool are pretty good at Easter. I've never known Blackpool be a bad Easter side. We're normally a coming at the end of the season side, aren't we? So I think Easters are normally okay for us. Phil, do you think we're going up? Are we going up?
Clocks go forward and we start to play.
And the pitch gets better, doesn't it, at Bloomfield Road as well?
We start to play as we know we can play. It used to be get rid of that yellow ball that you have over winter. We were always rubbish with the yellow ball. So, I think if we can maintain the way we're going, get the options, with the heavy schedule we've got, get all the players back fit who are currently out. We've then got options, and other teams will be worried about us rather than us be worried about them.
Yeah, we're coming up on the rails. Freddie, put you on the spot. We're going up.
Being a Blackpool fan, to be honest, my answer is going to be very biased. So yeah, of course we can. So I feel that since the beginning of the season up to now, we've come on so much. We've come on leaps and bounds. We're all coming together, and who knows where we'd be. Obviously, if it wasn't for the start of the season. I do believe strongly that we're going to finish in the playoffs. We've got some games coming up now that are very, are winnable. It's just a case of getting over the line, getting up. Hopefully, we can this season. If we can't, then obviously next season I think we should go for the top two. We've got the fans back, and I just feel over the next season it's going to be, it's going to be very exciting being a Blackpool fan.
Yeah. Somebody posted, I'm just going to bring this up as well. Somebody posted a view, I think it was a view from the tower, and they said that if we, Sadler's got to spend some serious money if we get into the championship and all this, but you got to buy players and you got to spend millions on all this sort of stuff. And to be honest with you, I prefer to do the way we're doing. I prefer to find talent, and I prefer to coach it into, all these players really that we've got, none of them are names really, are they? Probably apart from Gary Medine. But I'd never heard of any of these players before they came to play for us. I'd never heard of Ekpateta. I'd never really heard of Jerry Yates. I'd never heard of Kai when he came. I'd never heard of Kenny Dougal, Elliot Embleton, Jordan Gabriel, Garbett, really. And not heard of any of them. And that seems to be the way with Blackpool, where even in the Premier League, none of those players that played in that Premier League team under Holloway were household names. They became household names because of the way they played. And I think it's far better to have a manager that has got a vision of bringing young talent through, has got a vision of coaching a team to be able to play, being able to coach versatility into players so they can slot in different positions. And I don't think you need to go spending millions on players. I just think you need to have the whole back thing right. What would you think, Sebi, on that? Do you think we need to spend millions or just carry on doing what we're doing?
No, not at all. The players we have, I feel, are good enough. From the talent we have. At the start of the season, that game against Plymouth was we played well, but I don't know, the way we play now, we would have absolutely smashed Plymouth. So we don't need to spend millions at all.
No, Phil, do you think if we get in the championship, it's millions to spend on players, or do you think this this vision they have with Critchley, and we can all see it where they're looking at building an academy and proper training facilities, and do you think it'll be good enough?
You can see so much improvement in so many of the team, and that's down to the coaching. Carry on doing what they're doing. We're improving what we've got, and obviously you can get more players in who might come from a better base, but if you can improve those just as much, you don't have to spend millions to do that. And I think as a fan, you want players who have come on the journey with you as well. You don't want to bring in a load of journeymen just because you've gone up a level. I'd sooner go through the thing like we did in 2007, going through into 2010. A lot of the team that went up in 2007 were still there when we got to the Premier League, and and I think that creates that bond between fans and team.
Yeah. Do you think, Freddie, that you can see a good team bond going on here at Blackpool? Does it seem evident to you?
Yeah, it does. It does indeed. Just touched upon a bit earlier on the development the players have had since the beginning of the season. I don't think we need to spend millions if we were to go into the Championship. I do strongly believe that we do need to sort a few contracts out with the players, such as Mickey. We also need the problems we're having in the final third. One thing I love about Blackpool signing is that we've always signed players that have points to prove. If you look at the older teams like Everett and Craney,
Yeah.
This season we have signed League Two players like Yates, even though he was at Rotherham, he played for Swindon, and also CJ Hamilton. But they've always got something to prove. They're hungry. They've got a great desire, and I really like signing those type of players.
Yeah. I'm just going to go to Sebi on this one. I'm going to ask you this one because Sebi, before we came back from Not a Penny More was like 9 years old, and he came back to watch Blackpool, on the homecoming day again, and was all excited about it, and they kind of let you down that season. Then we did the next season, and we were all full of hope under Grayson, and they kind of, it all fell apart. And I know you were kind of disappointed at Christmas when we went to Tranmere Rovers and we didn't win there, and the whole Christmas, the whole Christmas fiasco really, and after Christmas in January. How are you feeling now as a Blackpool fan? Because you don't really remember the Premier League. You don't, you remember this. Are you more excited about this team than what you've seen so far?
The way the football we play now is the best I've seen. Like last season was good, but it was never the team we have now. We can play football better than most teams in League One, definitely. So I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, this is good. And you'd have just loved to have been on that North Stand. Seb was going to go on the North Stand. He was leaving his dad this year. He was going on the North Stand for all the noise and stuff. You'd have loved it, wouldn't you? You'd be loving being on that North Stand this season. It would be great, wouldn't it, to be at Bloomfield Road? Would you have liked to have been there to watch this in the ground? Would we all have liked to be there to cheer them on?
100%.
Yeah, I feel like it'd give them a boost, I guess.
Yeah, some of these games we've drawn over the last few weeks, I think with a full house in at Bloomfield Road, we'd have won those games because we did. As like against Swindon, I thought that even though we were only 1,000 in, it made a real difference. You could tell the players got a lift from the fans being in there.
Did you notice at Oxford yesterday they had sort of crowd noise all the time, didn't they? Do you think that inspired Blackpool? Oh, I'll tell you what I was going to mention as well. One of the Oxford players, I don't know if you remember, in the first half, there was a little bit of an argy-bargy in the, I think it was a corner, and one of the Oxford players just pulled Kenny Dougal out, literally pulled him out of the way, and he didn't react to it. But I thought it spurred Kenny Dougal on to because you could see it really annoyed him. And did you notice that, Freddie?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, they kind of kind of pulled him away, didn't he? Really quite aggressively as well. It wasn't very nice.
Yeah. One thing I noticed yesterday was how poor the linesman was.
Well, he didn't know, did he? There was quite a few times we didn't know if it was our ball or their ball. He had no idea, did he? I was thinking, what's he doing on that line? Because he didn't know if that ball was a Blackpool throw-in or because I think he gave one to Blackpool.
Did he?
Yeah, he gave one to Blackpool, and I actually thought it was the other way around. And then he gave one the other way around that I thought was the other way around. So yeah, he was poor, Freddie. I agree with you on that one. Nick Muller for the Ipswich fans says it's so tight in this league, and it is tight, isn't it? It's very tight. But we haven't played our games in hand yet, so we'll see how tight it is when we've actually played these games in hand, because it might not be quite as tight as it is at the moment. Steve Thomason says it's in our hands for the playoffs, and nobody wants us in the playoffs.
No.
Just quickly touch on that, Phil, because you've been probably to as many playoff finals as I have, and you'll know that Blackpool Football Club are pretty much playoff specialists, aren't we? For some reason, they just suit us the playoffs, don't they?
Playoff games. I don't think that anybody in football has a better record than us in playoffs. So then even I know it's on the AFL show last night. Danny Cowley was saying, let's get Portsmouth into those playoff spots and let's see if we can win a game, because Portsmouth have never won a playoff game. So people say it doesn't. History doesn't count. It does. Teams have that baggage, and ours is a positive baggage. So that's why I'm confident.
Good. So we're all feeling confident. I think that will do. I think we've done everything. Has anybody got any last thoughts on the game yesterday at all? Have you got anything to say before we say goodbye to everyone?
I'd just like to add something overall, to be honest, just before we go, is I've actually looked at the stats over the last 30 games, and what's really impressive to see is that in all 30 games played in all competitions, we've actually won 17, we've drawn 7, and we've lost 6. So if we can actually maintain this form that we're in and get into the playoffs, then I strongly believe going into those playoffs, we're going to be the team that's in form.
What's the average points there, Freddie? Just to put you on the spot, what we actually averaging out per game? Does anybody have that figure for us? I don't know if we do.
I know we're averaging just over 2 in the last dozen.
Just over 2 in the last dozen. And how many games have we got to play now? Just refresh our memories on how many games we've got left. 13. So if we carry on the rate we're going, that's another 26 points, which will put us on 79. Will it? 79 points.
Yeah.
Just and I actually don't think. I think we should have had more points. I think we should be probably 6 points on top of that, really, as well, because we could have had wins on all them 3 games, couldn't we? On another day we could have had. Right, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you very much to all the people that have been watching. We've had quite a lot in today. I've noticed a lot of you been posting in the comments and everything. Hang on, we'll just finish off with VSL Up says, where can you move up if you win your games in hand? We can move into the playoffs, can't we, quite easily? I'm not quite sure. Could we get into 4th just with our games in hand?
If the table was equaled out, I think it is 4th. If I think there's Doncaster in there. I think we've only 1 game in hand on them, but apart from that,
we can't get past Doncaster, but we've got Doncaster to play. So that's going to be a very important game, isn't it? We could get past
Sunderland twice.
Sunderland twice,
that can make a big difference.
So they are massive games, aren't they? The Doncaster and the Sunderland games, and obviously Peterborough on Tuesday. The edgy ones. Jord has just come in. Hi, Jord. He says, Kike had a class game. Yates put in a full shift every game. Also good to see other players from different positions scoring. Yes, thanks for reminding me on that. There has been this thing. A lot of people have been saying in my streams and on the forums that we can't just rely on Jerry Yates to score all the goals. And I thought it was really good to see 2 goals come from, one from midfield and one from defence. Do you think that's what we need to have in our, to really make sure that we have a good chance of going up? We're not just relying on Jerry Yates for goals and we can score from other positions. Do you think that was a big thing? I'll start with Seb on that one.
No, we have a goal scorer to score goals. Like, it doesn't matter really who scores the goal.
No, but is it Andy that we can score from other positions other than Jerry Yates? So he doesn't have to score like 5 a game to win 5-0 if we can get goals from elsewhere. Yeah,
I mean, it's nice if someone else scores, but I don't know. That's the striker's job, for him to score. So it's not really a.
Are you in agreement with Seb there, Phil? Do you think it's just all?
I like to see goals from around the team, because you never know if somebody has an off day or an off few games. You're not totally reliant on them, but I know what you're saying. It's good to have a focal point for those goals. You want your top goal scorer to be pushing on 20 a season, don't you?
Oh, yes, you do, absolutely.
And he is getting towards that by the end of the season, fingers crossed. So, yeah.
Freddie, are you happy that we're scoring from other positions other than Jerry Yates as well to help him out?
Yeah, definitely. It's great. Obviously, Yates scoring goals, but put all the pressure on him to score the goals every single game. Unfortunately, as much as we want him to, it's not going to happen. And I also know that Critch, when he's spoken to the press, he's also spoken about how important it is for other players from across the team to start contributing with goals. So, because we are now starting to score goals all over the pitch and from different players, I feel that in the long run, it can only benefit Blackpool.
Yeah, brilliant. That's it, folks. I think we've done. It's been a pleasure. Philip, you've been brilliant on your first appearance. Seb, you've been fantastic. Honestly, really, really brilliant. It's been a pleasure having you on. And Freddie, we're just gonna have to sort you out in some way with this blooming microphone and the phone. I don't know. We'll sort you out over the next week and try and get this fixed with your phone and everything. But bottom than that, it's been wonderful having you all on. Anybody who's watching this, if you were gonna watch Tommy Yashin on Thursday, we're going to move it. We're having to move it a day forward because, of course, it's England on Thursday, and we'd forgotten about England, haven't we? So we're all going to be watching England on Thursday, and I will see you guys again. If you'd like to come on again, you're most welcome. Everybody is really welcome. It's been fantastic today. I've really enjoyed it. Some good conversation. If you're watching this on the rerun, definitely post in the comments under the video if you've got anything you want to add to what's been said today. But thank you very much for watching, and we will see you soon, won't we? See you later.
See ya.
Come on, the pool.